Hey everyone, here's a update on my solo play of Paths of Glory. Now this is my first game since about maybe 5 years ago I played this last. So it was a rules refresher as well as a solo game. And I think I did very well with the rules. I think I got most of it right, with one exception. On one activation, I think it was when I activated the Mediterranean Expedition Force here in the northeast, which was tracing supplies through their beachhead here. They should have cost me 3 ops to activate. Instead I used 1, so mistake there. But otherwise I think I nailed the rules reasonably well. So let's have a talk about what happened in this game. So the Central Powers won convincingly. It's only in spring of 1916 and they've won the war, partly because obviously I'm rusty at this game and my tactics aren't very good, and particularly in regards to supply, which is critical in this game. So anyway, let's have a look at what happened. So you'll see the black markers right through France and Italy. Those are places captured by the Central Powers. So the main action happened here for the Central Powers in basically destroying the French and kicking the British out of France, and then sweeping their way down Italy. And the crucial mistake here was allowing the Central Powers to get in behind all the French forts here and cutting them off in supply. And a great move by the Central Powers, if I say so myself, and eliminating those forts. From there on in, it was a struggle for the French and the British to hang on to France, although the British Expeditionary Force put up a sterling show. And then once they'd done that, they just one army, the 7th German Army, swept down Italy, and the Italians just couldn't handle those German forces. Switching over to the other front, so this is where it went a little better for the Allies, with the Russians capturing ground, mainly because the Germans had this breakthrough, so they just focused on this breakthrough to exploit it, and diverted forces away, or didn't reinforce this front or the north-east map, because they could see a victory in the making over here. So that allowed the Russians to make some headway here. Not as much as I would have liked as the Allies. Those German armies at 5 strength are pretty strong, and it takes a lot of Russians to knock those around. So the Russians did make headway, but not enough to keep the Allies in the game. And had it gone on a little longer, they may have had a bit of a breakthrough through here, but that wasn't to be the case. Over in the Far East, so this was a area where the British pretty much dominated to a certain extent. There wasn't that much action here. The Germans never sent any forces down here. They just strat moved some Turkish forces just late in the game to prevent Constantinople from being taken over by a British force flying up there. So the Russians came down and did a little bit of damage down through the Caucasus, and the Mediterranean Expedition Force threatened around here, but it was too little too late, and the Central Powers managed to get an automatic victory. So there we have it, Paths of Glory, one of the all-time classic war games. This is one of the very first, in fact this is the very first card-driven game I ever played. This is going back decades when I played this game first, when I first joined Board Game Geek, one of the very early members of that site. And I picked up the first copy, which was a paper map. A couple of years later I sold it in anticipation of the deluxe mounted map, and that took years to come, so I didn't have this game around for years. Subsequently, when it did arrive, I haven't played it that much, just because there's so many other things to play, but it stood the test of time. It's just such a terrific game, and you could buy this now, and I don't even think it's showing its age. Maybe the rules in some areas slightly, but overall it's one of the classics in wargaming. So that's Paths of Glory. I may pick up the very latest version, which has a slight change to the rules, not much, and a updated mounted map. But I'm not sure I prefer it over this one. It's got more pictures or diagrams of cities as opposed to just the blank boxes. But I think this is a little clearer. I'll see what I'll think about that one. So anyway, there you go, guys. That's Paths of Glory. I've got a couple more days here at this location I'm at, so I've got some time maybe to get something else on the board. I won't have time for Empire of the Sun, and the only other games I've got here, as you might have seen in my previous video, were Maori Wars, Pericles, and Peloponnesian Wars. So I've got High Frontier upstairs on the board as well, so I may get one of those to the table as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, and that's the mighty Paths of Glory.